Night of total terror. Night of the living dead. The dead who live on living flesh. The dead whose haunted souls hunt the living. The living whose bodies are the only food for these ungodly creatures. Night of the living dead. A bizarre adventure in fear. An experience in shock, more shattering than your strangest nightmare. Night of the living dead. A night with the dead who cannot die. A night of total terror. Night of the living dead.
It's hard to imagine a time when horror films did not use an element of realism to strike fear into the hearts of filmgoers. However, prior to 1968, horror films were old Gothic monsters, aliens, and various science-enhanced creatures. That is until a director, known for his work on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, would create the first major independent film that would change horror forever. Our final film in this month-long tribute to director George A. Romero is his first film, the 1968 release, Night of the Living Dead. In this film, a group of individuals seek refuge in a farmhouse from beings that have inexplicably risen from the dead and crave human flesh. The film stars Duane Jones, Judith O'Dea, Carl Hardiman, Marilyn Eastman, and Keith Wayne. Despite this film being our introduction to zombies, it is also known for being the first successful independent film. Our next two clips, George A. Romero explains during a Toronto Film Festival in 2005 the film's success and how losing the copyright to the film led to it gaining a stronger following throughout the years. And then Romero will discuss the groundbreaking decision of casting Duane Jones as Ben. It was groundbreaking because it is the first American film to have an African-American male be the quote-unquote hero of the film, and a historic tragedy that enhanced the film's profile.
Oh, the fact is that when the film was first released, it made money. It cost us about $117,000, and it made about $700,000 in the first year, in those drive-ins and neighborhood theaters, and blah blah blah. And we said, "Wow, this is an easy business." Then it went away. I mean, just disappeared. And then one day, somebody discovered that there was no copyright on the film, because we had our original title was Night of the Flesh Eaters. And we stupidly, as young filmmakers, put the copyright bug, the little C with the circle around it, on the title card. And when they changed the title, that bug came off. And all of a sudden there was no copyright. They didn't notice, we didn't notice, nobody noticed, It was one of those things that just the one that got away. And all of a sudden there was no copyright on the film. So, the moment that people realized that, everybody was selling it on VHS, and, everybody could release it without having to pay any royalties or anything else. And that's really the journey of that film. Then all of a sudden, the French discovered it. A magazine called Cahiers du Cinéma, which you may know, wrote this huge article about it being amazing, important American cinema. And I wasn't thinking of it as that at all. But everyone who was sort of noticing the film was talking about the racial issue. And to us, it wasn't a racial message at all. In fact, we were when we cast Dwayne Jones, when Dwayne Jones agreed to do it, we didn't change the script. And when Jack and I were writing the script, it was the guy in our mind was Caucasian. And the same things happened to him. And people are saying, well, here come these posse with dogs and going after the black guy. They were going after the guy when he was white. So that was not our point. Our point was more the disintegration of society, the inability to communicate, the disintegration of the family unit, and that's the stuff that we were.
And you just picked him because he was the best actor you could find.
Russ, my partner, and Russ Streiner and I were driving it to New York. We had the first answer print of the film in the trunk of our car, and driving to New York, we heard on the radio that Martin Luther King had been assassinated. And that, I think, is where the whole race thing came from. I mean, that sort of made the film that much more exotic, or that much more...
Just hearing that news, what you had in the trunk, suddenly it changed.
Yeah,
there was a heavier weight.
Said, wonder if this is going to be good for us. I mean, you hate to say that, but, it's obviously the thing that occurs in it.
This film was made before the start of the MPAA, the Motion Picture Association of America, which gave films ratings that we know today. So Romero was able to use disturbing realism to depict the zombies. The people that played The Walking Dead actually ate cow livers and pig intestines that were depicted as human entrails to keep the realism. While that was groundbreaking, make no mistake, what is most memorable and is still talked about to this day is the performance of Dwayne Jones. As we learned in our previous clip, Romero did not cast him because he was African American, but by casting him, Romero created a cinematic symbol for the civil rights movement. And Jones's performance is what makes Ben that. It brings that symbol to life. Our next clip is an example of this. When we first encounter Ben, he rescues Barbara, Judith O'Day, from a zombie attack and brings her into the farmhouse. Despite society crumbling around him and everyone else hysterical, Ben keeps his cool, and this scene shows what makes him a strong hero, no matter his color.
He grabbed me, and he ripped at me. He held me, and he ripped at my clothes.
I think you should just calm down.
Oh, I screamed, Johnny! Johnny, help me! Oh, help me! And he wouldn't let me go. He ripped. And then Johnny came and he ran and he fought this man. And I got so afraid. I ran. And Johnny didn't come. We have to wait for Johnny. Maybe we better go out and get him. We have to go out and get Johnny. He's out there. Please Don't you hear me? We've got to go out and get him. Please! We have got to go get Johnny! Please help me! Please!
Don't you know what's going on out there? This is no Sunday school picnic.
Don't you understand? My brother is alone!
Your brother is dead.
No! My brother is not dead! Oh. Oh. Oh.
With the casting of Jones, how he played the strong hero role, it would be accurate to assume that this was about the civil rights movement. But that would be too simple for the great mind of Romero. He has said this film is about the crumbling of society, as we have heard earlier. Through further research, I found that during the Vietnam War, America had lost the idea of heroes. That also during the 60s, the ideas of families, values, and morals had crumbled, and people were fighting against the new ideas that others presented. That ultimately is what Romero wanted to depict in this film. Our final clip is a great example of this. When faced with survival in the farmhouse, Ben encounters Harry Cooper, his wife, their daughter, and a young married couple. Harry Cooper is an older man that fights Ben for leadership and control over the farmhouse. This final clip shows this fight between the old rules of society, that being Cooper, and the new world ideas, that being Ben, and how that conflict is constant. And even when both of their survivals are on the line, they cannot get past this internal struggle.
Gotta get down there. I could use some help up here.
That's the cellar. It's the safest place.
You mean you didn't hear the racket you were making up here?
How are we supposed to know what was going on? Could have been those things for all we knew.
That girl was screaming. Sure, you must know what a girl screaming sounds like. Those things don't make any noise. Anybody would know somebody ever needed help.
Look, it's kind of hard to hear what's going on from down there.
We thought we could hear screams, but for all we knew, that could have meant those things were in the house afterward.
And you wouldn't come up and help.
Well, if there were more...
The racket sounded like the place was being ripped apart. How were we supposed to know what was going on?
Now, wait a minute. You just got finished saying you couldn't hear from down there. Now you say it sounded like the place was being ripped apart. It would be nice if you get your story straight, man.
All right, now you tell me. I'm not going to take that kind of a chance when we got a safe place. We luck into a safe place, and you're telling us we got to risk our lives just because somebody might need help, huh?
Yeah, something like that.
All right, why don't we settle this?
Look, mister, we came up. Okay, we're here. Now I suggest we all go back downstairs before any of those things find out we're in here.
They can't get in here.
You got the whole place boarded up?
Yeah, most of it. All but a few spots upstairs. They won't be hard to fix.
You're insane. The cellar's the safest place.
I'm telling you, they can't get in here.
And I'm telling you, those things turned over our car. We were damn lucky to get away at all. Now you tell me those things can't get through this lousy pile of wood?
His wife and kids downstairs. The kid's hurt.
Well, I still think we're better off up here.
We could strengthen everything up, Mr. Cooper.
With all of us working, we can fix this place up in no time. We have everything we need up here.
We can take all that stuff downstairs with us. Man, you're really crazy, you know that? You got 1 million windows up here. All these windows, you're gonna make them strong enough to keep these things out, huh?
I told you those things don't have any strength. I smashed 3 of them and pushed another one out the door.
Did you hear me when I told you they turned over our car?
Oh, hell, any good 5 men can do that.
That's my point. Only there's not going to be 5 or even 10. There's going to be 20, 30, maybe 100 of those things. And as soon as they know we're here, this place is going to be crawling with them.
Well, if there are that many, they'll probably get us wherever we are.
Look, The cellar. The cellar, there's only one door, right? Just one door, that's all we have to protect. Tom and I fix it so it locks and boards from the inside. But up here, all these windows, why, we'd never know where they were going to hit us next.
You got a point, Mr. Cooper. But down in the cellar, there's no place to run to. I mean, if they did get in, there'd be no back exit. We'd be done for. We can get out of here if we have to. And we got windows to see what's going on outside. But down there with no windows, if a rescue party did come, we wouldn't even know it.
But the cellar is the strongest place.
The cellar is a death trap.
I don't know, Mr. Cooper. I think he's right. You know how many's out there?
I don't know. Maybe 6 or 7.
Look, you two can do whatever you like. I'm going back down to the cellar, and you better decide. Because I'm going to board up that door, and I'm not going to unlock it again no matter what happens.
This film is a monumental achievement for so many reasons. I could go on and on about the firsts it presented, the start of Romero's film career, the great performances, and so much more. However, my words do not do it justice. This film is frightening, disturbing, and fear-inducing. The black and white it is shot in only enhances that. To this day, its scenes and images leave a mark on a viewer that you cannot forget. In 2 days, this film celebrates its 55th anniversary of being released. It has had 5 direct sequels, 2 remakes, and even an unofficial sequel done by the co-writer of this film called Return of the Living Dead. And its influence continues to this day in comic books, movies, and video games. That influence is not felt just with the creation of zombies, but it is seen in filmmakers, actors, and those just getting their start in cinema. It provides a reminder that all you need is a will and a vision, because that is what carried George A. Romero to his status as a master of cinema. I hope you join me next Friday when we start our Halloween slate of films with arguably the scariest film ever made, the late William Friedkin's The Exorcist. And then, in 2 weeks, we will look at the sequel to this film, George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead. To close this week's review, I would like to present the final scene of this film, as we learn of the fate that met the heroic Ben, the lone survivor of the farmhouse. For WMNH and Matt Connarton Unleashed, this has been a classic film review with Erich Pilcher.
You, drag that out of here and throw it on the fire.
Nothing down here.
All right, go ahead down and give him a hand. Let's go check out the house, man.
There's something there. I heard a noise.
All right, Vince, hit him in the head, right between the eyes. Good shot. Okay, he's dead. Let's go get him. That's another one for the fire.
Send the wagon through directly ahead. Over.